Hello, and welcome to this daily analysis of NQ. It is the 19th of September, and yeah, let's get into it. Um, so, we're on the 1 hour chart here. We can see that yesterday we had a lot of volatility, um, crazy volatility. Um, this was, I believe, the federal funds rate. So yeah, big news. Um, Immediately, what I can see here is um, we eventually got a break of structure here, up. So I would put that on the 1 hour break of structure, and we ended up taking liquidity here again, pushing up. It's crazy messy. Now we're getting into really higher kind of time frame stuff here. Um, we have taken these highs, finally, right? I would just say, even though the idea of shorting this feels nice, I'm gonna be really cautious. I think over the next couple of days until next week with what's going on. I'm not crazy sure at the moment about what I would feel comfortable taking. Um, we still have news, and I know it's not U.S. news, but we have the Japanese interest rate tomorrow, and we're still in really sensitive times for the relationship between the interest rates between the U.S. and Japan, and it's something to just take note of. Is that I don't know, I don't think the uncertainty is going to be kind of easing off just yet. But anyway, on our 1 hour, it's pretty clear that they made their mind up what they wanted. Right, we took liquidity at the bottom, came back into here. Obviously, this push up was enough to build enough liquidity here and break up through Asia. Actually, Asia is what did it today, what broke it up. So yeah, very much, very much trying to break into this area here and close, and it seems like they might be successful with this. What does that mean? Well, really, this is if we get nice closes up here, it's a significant significant break of structure, really. Now, it doesn't mean that all that means is that if we do come back down into this structure, the precedent of staying bullish for longer remains, right? That's all it means. But there will be some aggressive price action around here. I think so. Let me hide market cipher. Anyway, right now the higher time frames they're working themselves out. But all we got to know is we had a strong bullish change of character, or not change of character, break of structure. Anyway, let's go down to the smaller time frames. As I said, today I'm a bit more out of the loop, but I'm just going to do some basic TA, see what they could do. EU opened up here. Sydney started here. So we have a Sydney low, and I'm going to mark that out. Then we have Tokyo, put in this high, and then put in a low down here. And Hong Kong followed. But the low is I would say major Japanese trading session. Nothing very significant happened here that would make me think that these lows are mega strong. We have a very large breakaway up here. We broke structure here internally, but I would say that it's a low liquidity. It can come back into the structure easily. I give this internal, BOS, low liquidity. And then we have one here. Could call this a change of character, but honestly, this structure is really messy. All we got to know is they took external liquidity here, and then they pushed up. They really broke structure. This is very localized. We have buckets of liquidity in here, right? Buckets. With how EU has opened and what it's done, let's see. I'm gonna look at a few of my models for timings. Maybe they'll help me. Okay. So, if we are to believe that price will keep increasing, and that they will want to just make a run for the targets above us, which, as you can see here, we have a 1 hour block here that was on this break of structure. Significant area. They seemed to wash liquidity all right here. They took a lot of liquidity here into the vector, which is notable that there is a vector here. But we have a block here, and potential we could get a reaction from this block. There's a bit of a volume gap here in the block, and there's a breaker here. Now, where is the breaker? I have it marked on the 45-minute, and I think simply because that was the most obvious one for me, was this one here. So we have a 45-minute breaker right above us, above these highs. Got to remember there's a lot of liquidity here, a lot of stop losses, and when they hit this large kind of pool, they're going to be ruthless, I think, with taking these stops. But just with my style, I would find it hard to long this. I'm not a breakout trader. It's not my style. I would find it hard to long. But, you know, I'm not going to force a trade either. If I need to let this pass and I need to let the market just come to a place that I feel more comfortable with, that's fine. I'll let it do it. It might mean that I don't make any money that day, but it also means that I just avoid kind of mess, right? EU opened up here. We had a push down. We kind of took liquidity, right? I'm not super sold on this higher high that EU left us. An hour after open, we had a bit of a flush, and that flush really tapped into this higher liquidity pool. The way I would approach the market today, I think, is I might be looking for short retraces of this price action, but that's just the way I approach the market when we're in these kind of situations, you know. If we go back over liquidity taken, we had a little range here before EU opened. Took liquidity to the downside, moved up. We have another liquidity grab here. Downside, move up. This one I'm less sold on. It didn't really wash. It just kind of This is one move I would say, and it didn't take sizable liquidity here. Came into fair value gaps, filled them, pushed up. I'm not fully convinced about longing here, personally. But down here we have a few imbalances. We have a nice fair value gap here around the value area high of this boy. We can probably at this stage now drag this out to before it kind of broke structure. This is messy. It's very messy, but it's significant, so I'll drag it out to about here. Fair value gap just below value area high. We have this gap here. I would be interested in longing eventually if price comes into here and gives me what I want to see. We have what do we have down here? Get rid of all this now. All this. I'm going to change this to a normal value area low. The point of control of this entire range is here. It's the range point of control, and it's on a high volume node. We can play around up here and retrace this, fill these imbalances. I feel like price will be easier to navigate if we do that. Personally, I think it will. All of this doesn't really matter anymore now. We've broken out of the range, whether we like it or not, and we could come back in, but this it doesn't really matter anymore. I'm going to put the value area high. Point of control, obviously a high volume node. So longer term, Sydney low, not the worst looking low. And we have Tokyo open, but I would look for eventually longs down here. Now I don't know when that's going to happen. It could be US. Could be US. I don't know what the UK is going to do. I'm going to be really cautious approaching it. I don't know if I'm going to necessarily long or short, honestly. I might sit out of this one today. We'll see. We're going to have liquidity sitting under here. Coming into this point of control would be nice. And we have little blocks here, and Sydney's initial balance, right? This was where Sydney opened. 10-minute below the point of control. So yeah, this is notable liquidity to come and take. Swipe the point of control, come into a block, but they could come down here. They could easily come down in here. There's a chance for some internal plays, maybe around this fair value gap. We have a 3-minute block that I actually kind of like the look of at the bottom of that gap. And this led to a break of structure. And this vector is right above it, so I don't mind that for potentially a little trade. Just note that there is a volume gap around there. Price can just wick down. Could even come down to this block. This 3-minute block. Right? 3-minute block down here as well. That might actually be a better candidate. If we go to the NQ, because that was the mini, I think that block actually had liquidity taken. Yeah, it did. So that block isn't bad for maybe riding a reaction up. I don't think that's the worst. I would be cautious, but it's at the top of a high volume node, and there is a volume gap around here. Okay, so filling this FVG, coming into those 3-minute blocks, this volume gap, we could get some move up, maybe to retest the value area high, right? Potentially. Just an idea. We have Japan's low here as well, which is just to take note of that. You know, take a trade based off of this holding. Japan's move was very strong. Um, into the Tokyo Open, which was 9 o'clock here. It's a very strong move. So sure, these could hold. Kind of a bit hard to say. It's a bit far away now. We're up here. If we want to immediately look at what happened, we had a comparatively weak push down to a push up into this area, which is the bearish breaker. This is the order block up here. I would kind of sit and wait until price comes up here, and perhaps take a short around here. Ride it simply into the structure. I would not get greedy with anything around here. I would play it very cautious, simply because it's just kind of crazy at the moment, you know. This was Asia, man. Like, this was Asia. Like kind of crazy. So honestly, guys, I could go way into the 1 minute and stuff for today, but I'm thinking we could be overall, perhaps we could be bearish, but I'm a bit not sold on taking opportunities today. I would be very cautious in general, and I would look for reactions off this 1 hour OB and the 45-minute breaker that we're just coming into. And if we do eventually come down back into this structure, we have a nice little fair value gap here. We have a few blocks that could get us back into some bullish pulls. And anything below that, if I'm going to be honest, that Japan low doesn't hold, I think we're just going to swipe back into it, and they would bring us back into the range at that stage, or they could drop it back into the imbalances, right, on Friday. It's coming into Friday, you know, like, there's not much run left in the week. Keep your trades local, I would suggest. But I would say that the strongest bet is this pocket that we're coming into now. After taking this liquidity, looking for a short, for me, would seem like a good option. But, you know, we have vector recovery here. We have a huge vector block now. It's a very strong vector block. It was mitigated, but they can still they can still just push it up, you know, after this. After taking these highs, they could defy all logic, push it up for Friday, give some terribly imbalanced PA into next week, and do whatever they want from there. You know, we are getting money flow divergences. We're getting messy divs. Nothing's very clear at the moment, guys. I'm going to be honest with you, but just stick to the tight ranges, and, you know, just, if the market isn't vibing, or you're not vibing with the market, it's all right. You know, there will be days that you really fuck with it, and it could save you a lot of hardship if you just identify the days that you don't, you're not you're not in your game, I guess, or it's not your style. Another order block here, the value area high. We could take that, but I would actually want lower. So that's what I got. Yeah, just be careful around this, guys, and happy trading.